Everyone wants to become a version of yourself before they begin, where you can perform at this pace or acquire skills which obviously you don't have, so you postpone it. After day, you're still not ready. It's crazy because it sounds mature. It sounds like you're being responsible, like you're waiting until you're qualified. But a lot of the time, that version of you you're waiting for doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing, the act of doing. You don't become that person first and then start. You start and then you become that person. And that's a trap. You think you're delaying for growth, but you're delaying to avoid exposure. I've been wanting to create content for a long time, and the feeling of not having enough knowledge, read enough books, not enough experience, it's all an excuse to not commit to the first ugly draft or even being seen. Because being seen is real. Being seen means you don't get to control how people interpret you. You don't get to stay with your quote unquote potential. You don't get to stay safe. You have to put something out and let it live on its own. And the weird part is the excuse is infinite. There's always another book, another piece of knowledge, another experience, and another reason to delay. That's how the egregore of not being enough was born. And silence, through repetition, and every time I said later, it's It's not not enough. enough. It's It's not not perfect.
Perfect. But if you keep saying later long enough, it becomes your personality. Now you're probably wondering, what is an egregore? An egregore is what happens when a thought stops being a thought, becomes a habit, and the habit becomes a voice, and eventually it's the voice you obey. It's basically when something that started as a mental comment becomes a routine, and that becomes identity. At first, it's just I'm not ready, then it's I never start until it's perfect, then it's I'm the type of person who doesn't post, then it becomes normal. And when it becomes normal, you don't even fight it, you just live inside it. Egregores aren't only personal, it can also be collective. When enough thought and repetition of the same belief, same fear, same desire, it forms an atmosphere everyone is breathing. That's why a lot of times trends, crowds, they can often feel possessed. It's why entire cultures move like one organism. You could see it in real life. People get pulled into waves. Everyone starts chasing the same status, the same aesthetic, the same goal, the same fear. Everyone starts acting like there's only one way to win, one way to look, one way to be. And if you're not careful, you don't even know what you want anymore. You just want what the atmosphere is telling you. Now, a lot of times, I call it preparation, while in reality it was perfectionism. I save drafts instead of publishing them, videos, music, posts, you name it. And it feels productive because you're working, you're collecting ideas, you're improving, you're planning, you're refining. But it's not the same as committing. Because the moment you publish, it becomes real, it becomes a thing people can judge, a thing you can't hide behind. And it stole my momentum, my peace, my identity. After enough delays, you stop trusting yourself and eventually just becoming the person that almost does things. And every delay is proof, not proof that you're not capable, but proof that you don't trust yourself enough to follow through. And that starts to stack up. You can have a whole identity in your head that doesn't exist in real life. That's what fantasy does. It keeps your self image perfect because it never has to face reality. So I decided to stop thinking and start doing. I don't know about you guys, but although thinking critically has been a blessing, it can be a damn curse as well. Because thinking can become hiding, thinking can become delay, thinking can become a way to feel in control without actually taking the risk. So I picked a rule that would force reality to happen, choosing a new law, which is being imperfect. The law of being imperfect. Because imperfect, whether if it's in public or in alone, it means posting the first version. It means releasing work that isn't polished. It means letting people see while you're still building. And even alone matters too, because even when no one is watching, you still know what you're doing. You know what you're avoiding. You know when you're hiding behind prep. You know when you're lying to yourself. So being imperfect, even alone, is a practice of not letting the egregore run your life in private either. Because the egregore of not enough doesn't die from motivation, it dies from repetition in the opposite direction. And that's a law. which is be imperfect and embrace the idea of you being imperfect because you're not perfect. And if you were perfect, that would be fucking hell. Like, really, like, if you were really perfect, then life would be completely boring and you wouldn't have anything to really improve on. Because perfection would mean there's no room for growth. Because growth requires mistakes. There's no room for being human because being human means trial and error. There's no room for spontaneity because spontaneity isn't perfect. There's no room for real life because real life is messy. So chasing perfection doesn't make you great, it makes you afraid. It keeps you in your head, polishing forever, hiding behind high standards, while your real life waits outside the room. So, choosing a new law, being imperfect, it's about accepting reality. It's choosing to live in the real world instead of living in a fantasy. It's choosing momentum over image. It's choosing output over obsession. It's choosing to be seen while you're still becoming. Because being imperfect in public, or alone, or in general, is the only way anything real gets built.